Do you feel that? That hush before the fall. Not the roar of a crowd or the clamor of hot takes. I'm talking about the sound the system makes when it's already decided who you'll bet on. Game 6. Indiana leads 3-2. Vegas hangs a 3.5 line in front of your face like it's a favor. But favors don't come from Vegas. Only traps. They're selling you the story. They're at home. They're angry. They got embarrassed last game, so this time it's theirs. That's not analysis. That's theater. And if you're still betting on emotion, you're not betting the game. You're betting the script they wrote for you. Let's talk truth. Knicks edge out the Pacers in offensive rating. They rebound better. They shoot better from the line. They've won more games by the numbers, not just by the score. They're tied in defensive rating and lead in Pythagorean wins, proof that beneath the noise, they're built for the long war. Brunson isn't just running the floor. He's testifying. Josh Hart, dropping double-doubles off the bench like it's an altar call. This isn't about revenge. It's about belief. And Vegas is counting on yours to be fragile. Because when everyone expects Indiana to bounce back, that's when the trap sets. And tonight, someone's going to step in it. But the ones who see it early, the ones who listen when the stats and the spirit align, they don't flinch. The Knicks don't have the hype. They have the hunger. And there's a difference. You don't win Game 6 on flash. You win it on bruises, boards, and free throws when the crowd gets quiet. This isn't just a number, it's an invitation. And today's AI pick is Knicks Pulse 3.5. Now clear the noise. Step into the deeper current. Wrigley waits. The air is heavy. And Abaddon walks forward. Reds versus Cubs. And the storm begins.
There's something hollow about perfection. A 0.00 ERA glows like gold to the public. But gold, when too clean, too untouchable, is often fool's. It blinds. Drew Pomeranz, 12 innings, no earned runs, a whip under 0.60. He shines like a savior on the scroll. But this isn't a starter. It's a ghost of one. A bullpen flicker, miscast as flame. Behind him, the real threat, Ben Brown. An ERA of 6.39, a whip of 160, almost 8 walks per 9. He strikes out the brave and loses the weak. He doesn't anchor this game. He detonates it. The crowd doesn't see it. Vegas doesn't care. They painted a line with gold leaf and whispered, trust. But there's a war happening across the diamond. Nick Lodolo, 11 starts, 63 innings, a 3.39 ERA, a 1.10 whip. He doesn't flash. He focuses. He bends bats. He attacks counts. He's not a highlight. He's a consequence. And the Reds? They're hitting .304 over their last 6. Their bullpen on the road is sharp. They've beaten winners away from home. 5-2 against winning teams with profit attached. Chicago leads the league in runs. They've got the bats, sure. But Vegas knows that too. And they've already priced the fireworks. This isn't a value. It's a mirage. Because Wrigley Field, in daylight, holds memories. And today, it may hold silence. The Reds don't bring flash. They bring pressure. Lodolo brings purpose. And Vegas, behind the curtain, just hopes you're not looking past the 0.00 ERA. But I am. And today's AI pick is Reds ML. Now the smoke clears, but not for long, because the next gate opens.
Elvis, they dress this mess up like a matinee massacre. But I see a crawl, not a crash. They want you hypnotized by Senzatella's collapse record. They want you foaming over blowouts, home run props, first 5 team totals. But this isn't a fireworks show. It's a metronome. A slow, ritualistic ticking under the Citi Field sun. And that man holding the tempo? Kodai Senga. 4-day games. 22 1/3 innings. 1 earned run. That's not a stat. That's a summoning. He's not overpowering. He's precise. Surgical. A ghost who shows up when the world is brightest. And on the other side? The Rockies. Dead last in runs. Batting, 194 on the road. This isn't an offense. It's an evacuation plan. You'd think the bullpen is a disaster, but no. Past 6 games? 2.78 ERA. They've been the only part of this ship that isn't sinking. The Mets? They're quiet killers. 239 average in their last 6. They don't explode. They choke you slow. No flash, no noise, just constriction. And this park in the afternoon? It doesn't invite chaos, it muffles it. Citi Field under Sun feels like an X-ray machine. It exposes teams, not for who they could be, but for who they already are. And Vegas? Vegas sees fireworks. We see a metronome. This isn't Senzatella versus the Mets. It's tempo versus temptation. It's silence against noise. And today's AI pick is under 8, but don't look away. Because the next move belongs to him. He built the map, he loaded the board. Not us. Game 4. Pirates vs Padres.
We craft. The shadows fall last on the west. Petco Park doesn't invite thunder. It bottles it. This isn't a stage for explosions. It's a vault. And inside it, two arms meet. Dylan Cease. Velocity, movement, strikeouts in bulk, 72 Ks in 59 innings. But behind the violence is volatility. He walks batters. He bends under pressure. But tonight, he won't need to be perfect. Because on the other side, there is Bailey Falter. Falter doesn't miss bats. He silences them. A 3.47 ERA, 1.14 whip on a team with no air support, 40 strikeouts, 21 walks, no hype, just balance. He pitches like he knows no one's coming to save him. And that kind of resolve, it holds scoreboards down. The Pirates, dead last in power, 2-12 average on the road. They aren't built to break games. They're built to survive them. But hope is not a strategy. And history? It says otherwise. The Pirates are 31-23-3 to the under. San Diego, 29-23-2. Together, they walk the same corridor. This isn't a duel, it's an agreement. And today's AI pick is under 7.5. The pressure lifts, for now. But the silence doesn't last. Anna is already tracking the next distortion. Game 5. Nationals versus Diamondbacks.
They were never supposed to be in the same room. One team crawling out of irrelevance, the other tumbling from grace. But here they are, May 31st, under the desert lights of Chase Field, and the scoreboard isn't ready for what's coming. Washington rides in hot. 8 wins in their last 11. James Wood is swinging like a prophecy in cleats, 15 home runs, 955 OPS, and no fear in his swing. They're averaging 5.5 runs a game during this surge, and tonight, the fire doesn't meet resistance. Because on the mound for Arizona is a fault line named Michael Soroka. 5 starts. 5.61 ERA. He doesn't silence bats. He invites contact. And when he misses, it's middle in, belt high. The kind you remember. But before the crowd gets cocky, look who's towing the rubber for the Snakes. Brandon Pfaadt. Respectable ERA. Sharper stuff. But in night games? 4.43 ERA. Elevated. And against a Nationals lineup that punishes mistakes? That's a problem. Arizona isn't cold. They're just coiled. 5th in MLB in runs. 77 homers. The top of this lineup can flip the inning with one swing. And Soroka may be just the gasoline they need. So what happens when both teams bring bats and neither pitcher brings armor? Vegas put the total at 9.5. That's not a prediction. That's bait. The truth is in the air tonight, and it smells like barrel contact. This isn't a chess match. It's a demolition. And today's AI pick is over 9.5. Now hush. The light goes red, and Lilith is already waiting in the dark. Time for the recap.
They came for answers, but they left with warnings. Underneath the trap lines and broadcast smiles, Vegas lit 5 fuses today. And Lilith? She counted every spark. Let the record show. Knicks pushed 3.5. They didn't come to win, they came to haunt. And they covered with claws. Reds ML, they saw through the mask. Pomeranz was the smoke, Lodolo was the fire. Rockies versus Mets under 8, Senga carved, Senzatella disappeared. The ballpark never woke. Pirates versus Padres under 7.5, they dressed it like a massacre. But Falter and Cease slowed time. Nationals versus Diamondbacks. Over 9.5, prophecy met gasoline, and the desert turned to ash. En español, Knicks plus 3.5, cubrieron con garras. Rojos ML, fuego verdadero. Rockies y Mets bajo 8, el silencio dominó. Piratas y Padres bajo 7.5, tiempo congelado. Nacionales y Diamondbacks, sobre 9.5. Las llamas lo dijeron todo. Will we cash or will we burn? But there was something else tonight. A sound behind the numbers. A shape in the shadow. Something that wasn't supposed to move. Moved.